Views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we do encourage you to like and share them on Facebook. It's time for the Sue Ellen Sanders Show, hosted by Sue Ellen Sanders.
Welcome to the show, and I'm happy to be here and start of the new year. We got a little bit of new music to play with. As Cliff said, Sue Ellen Sanders Show 2020.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to this year. It's the start of a new decade, and there's a lot of things that are out there. If you have a nonprofit organization or a special event or an issue that you think would be worthy of talking or worthwhile to talk about on the Sue Ellen Sanders Show, you can reach me at the radio station. Just leave a message for me because I'm not here during the day. I'm working my full-time job. But I come in and we host the show, and we have all sorts of characters from local politics and issues to nonprofit organizations and events to people who want to get their message across and that we can learn from. For example, one of the last shows we did was with the Treasure Coast Safety Council with Rhonda, and learned about children's safety, and that, of course, is something that we can learn about on a regular basis. Well, today I have with me two folks who started an organization because they saw a need for a nonprofit to help have families gather together around the dinner table, kind of a lost art. And Martha Taylor and Kerrie Jakubczak are with me. You try pronouncing it. Don't sit there laughing in your car while you're listening to it. It's not an easy name to pronounce, but it's worthwhile. And from here on in, during the rest of the show, we'll just refer to her as Kerrie. The two of them are part of an organization called Family Meals, and we're going to learn about why the organization got started, how it got started 6 years ago, and what it's done in the 6 years since then. And we'll learn about a special event that is coming up on Saturday, January 25th, called Black Ties, Blue Jeans, and Bingo. And we'll find out all about that. To begin with, Martha, where did you get the idea to start a nonprofit called Family Meals?
I work in the St. Lucie County public school system, and a lot of the students don't bring in permission slips when they're supposed to. And I say, it's frustrating. And I said, I realize that they don't really see their parents, and I've reached out to the parents over the years, and their parents are busy. And as a family, the Taylor family always adopted and tried to find families to help during Thanksgiving. And one year, it was 2012, actually it was 2011, the need was very, very large in the community. We started out in Fort Pierce mostly. And usually I would just ask friends, I have another family, can you give me $50? And the Taylor family and I would go deliver to the families. And these families particularly just were down on their luck. They usually didn't receive free food or anything. They just had an illness in the family or lost their job. And it was a one-time thing to get them over, for them to enjoy a holiday. And this particular Thanksgiving, it was, just the Taylor family got so many requests, and the common thread was, you help my friend, or we found out about that your family helps people, but no one knew about it, and we didn't have to stand in line, and we didn't have to anything. Then they would tell me their story, and then anyway, that particular year, it was so many people asked, and I had really tapped out on my friends, and we were sitting at the table talking about it, and my son said, "Mom, you should start a nonprofit." And I mean, who do you know that starts a nonprofit? Certainly not me. So I said, you must be joking, my son John. And he said, no, that way you could help, you could get more organized, and you could help more people. You could get volunteers, and you could get grant money and everything. You could really take it somewhere and really help the community.
And people who donated to you could get a tax write-off.
Yes, that wasn't initially the
Yeah,
motivation.
but I mean,
absolutely,
that's one of the
absolutely, it's a
advantages
win-win
too,
for everybody. So so we talked about it, and I said, well, there's so many wonderful nonprofits and organizations that give free food, that different food banks and stuff. And so he said, make it different, make it something different. And I said, well, what stands out in your childhood? And he said, family meals. We couldn't do certain sports as a family. We have 4 children that are very close in age, and we couldn't allow one to do certain sport or certain activity if the other one couldn't do it, because we had to. Family meals was absolutely a priority.
That was an important part
in our home. So. And then we have a boy and 3 girls, and the girls, oh, Mom, that's right, it was family meals, and then I got to thinking about the kids not returning their permission slips, and I said, maybe we should come up with something to encourage families to have family meals and have a program that. This wasn't all decided that one night, but it was we
started,
talked about the seed was planted. So I started asking my friends, what do you think about if I started a nonprofit? Searching for somebody to say, you're a nut, don't do that.
That's what you were looking for.
Yes,
yeah.
But no one said it was a bad idea, and I had a little bit of the concept, and how would we do it? What would we do? What would we do? What would we do? So it was just absolutely, I'll help. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do that. And it was, okay, the different families would give me, here's $100. We raised $100. And my husband's a businessman. He said, no, if you're going to really do this, let's file the papers with the IRS, and, let's do it right. So he filed the papers, and at that time there was some hang-ups with the IRS, so we didn't get the determination, the letter that you get from the IRS. There was no reason we weren't going to get it. It just was a backlog of whatever. So the Thanksgiving was coming up, and I really didn't want to do it. I really didn't want to do it. I didn't know how I could do it. I didn't have the tools. I'm in the school system. I have no idea how to run a nonprofit. I don't know where do you buy the food? What do you do this? What do you, what if? And it was getting close to Thanksgiving, and a friend of mine was in this school across the hall from me, and she came over and said, I know that you do a lot in the community, and you help a lot of nonprofits, and this particular teacher was Teacher of the Year at our school that year, or a couple years before, and she said she needs help with Thanksgiving food. And honestly, I just felt that was the nudge that I needed. And she said, I know that she doesn't want anybody to know, of course, because she doesn't want her colleagues to find out.
She didn't want people feeling sorry for her.
Right, and she was embarrassed, and she had surgery on her shoulder or whatever kind of medical condition, and she had missed a lot of work, and she was a single mom. And I just knew that was the nudge that I needed, so I called my friends. I had asked different people to be, if they would help me on the board, because I really had no clue, and we were just a bunch of friends. We weren't professional nonprofit people. And we started, and we bought the food, Publix or whatever, where we could find BOGO, and we got names just from asking around, do you know so-and-so that needs help? And in 2012, we worked out of one of the board members' kitchen, and we helped 20 families, and that was just an incredible amount of people, and we were just on top of the world.
So did you cook them full meals, or did you put the food together for them?
We still do. We have meal ingredients. So we came up with a menu, and what do you have for Thanksgiving? Everybody has green bean casserole. Everybody has stuffing, and let's get the potatoes. So we got potatoes, so they could have fresh vegetables, and we sorted out the potatoes. Well, how many do you think? This family's 6 people. How many do you think they would have? And we just went around their island in the kitchen and put in what we thought, and we had 2 delivery teams. Now we call them teams, but they were 2 friends in 2 different cars that took them to the places, and we called the people and said, we're with Family Meals and we'd like to help you this Thanksgiving. They were very grateful, but we completely depleted absolutely every dime that we had, and so I thought, well, maybe this is it. And then slowly, it really didn't start out slow. It just absolutely the momentum and the traction just came in a very fast pace. And it just absolutely blossomed. And the difference, I think, is that we try to help families that are below the radar, that we don't, that people that don't usually get food. They don't.
So they're not people that are automatically getting public assistance.
Correct.
They're people that are in that in-between.
Most of the times we tried, we hope that they don't, because they don't really need our help. And we wanted to be something meaningful and not have every week we don't have a food pantry. We still don't have a food pantry. And you come, we reach out to you if we think you need help. And but back then, it was the same way, and people were afraid to give us their information, and we only ask for their name, their children's ages. We don't ask for the children's names, just their ages, just to get some kind of data for us
food,
as we started, right? And we didn't share their names with anyone. There was no need to, and the word got out, and different people. Some of the great stories that we hear, and one lady called, and her daughter had cancer, and she's in the hospital a lot, and they weren't going to have a Thanksgiving that year, and it was just real moving, and she called and thanked us, and she said she knew that we wouldn't share her name or her information, and that back then we gave complete pies, a frozen pie or a fresh pie that we get. Again, whatever coupons or BOGO that we had. And we still come up with a menu, and we have Thanksgiving, we have a turkey stuffing. And we've learned through these 6 short years, and we've changed things a little bit, but the basic concept is the same.
So you give them all the ingredients that they need to create their own family dinner, and you do it for Thanksgiving dinner. But you've broadened where you're doing more than Thanksgiving now, aren't you?
Right. We also do Easter and then summertime. We were only going to do it twice a year, but we were requested because summertime is rough on families. Mm-hmm. But when we first started, the feedback from the families were they're not used to having family meals. We asked the families, if you would just have a family meal, get to know, put the electronics down, get to know your children, look them in the eye, ask them how their day was. And so the feedback from the families was, we don't usually have family meals. It's very awkward for us. So we came up with table talk questions. And so that's in all the meal bags too. And it's just open-ended questions. If you were a Disney character, what would your day be like? And if you were,
name a famous person you'd like to be.
Thank you.
Just open-ended questions to start a conversation, because like you said, life gets lost in technology. Put your phone down and let's start a conversation.
People forget how to have conversations.
Mm-hmm.
They absolutely do. I know that's true. You and I were talking earlier that we both have daughters that are the same age, and the 25-year-olds, they don't even know how to date anymore, because they do everything by text or online, and to have people in the same room. So we've raised a generation of kids that and adults too.
Right.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times now we go out to dinner and my husband's the one that you want to take the phone away from. And then what happens is somebody forgets their phone or leaves it in the car, and there's like silence. Nobody knows what to say. And so you're giving the hints and the ideas, and hopefully they're going to understand that family meals are valuable, and they may not go to the extreme where there's a family meal that they all sit down for, X days of the week, but maybe just once or twice during the week.
Mm-hmm.
because the power of the communication in the family meal is extreme.
It is. It's tremendous. And the if you share family meals, just do it once, see if you like it, and we'll give you all the tools that you need. The food, we'll shop for you. We'll give you the menu, and if the kids can help you in the kitchen making the food. If not, sometimes that's not possible. Just look them in the face and find out how their day was and get to know them. And the the statistics are tremendous, the benefits of family meals, and it's just sharing a family meal, just reconnecting with your family.
Well, so let's talk about some of the statistics. Kerrie, you're shaking your head when you said when Martha said the statistics are tremendous. What kind of statistics are we looking at, and what kind of advantages do people have from sitting down at the dinner table together?
Well, I think it's important for families to be able to talk, ask questions, pointing questions. How's school? How's life? How's work? It gets lost, like I said, with technology. If you have someone you can sit and talk to, maybe the statistics, I know we've got some statistics we found out about with those who sit down and have a meal together. Drug use is down.
Okay, that's what I was reaching for.
Healthy eating, just there's so many things from sitting around that dinner table and enjoying a meal together.
Well, healthy eating, definitely, because a lot of times the alternative is going through the fast food drive-through,
right.
Or picking up something that you could eat standing up at the refrigerator. And it is not true that if you're standing up in the kitchen that the calories don't count.
Oh, no.
Gosh, we wish that were true, don't we?
Oh, no. That's what I'm doing wrong. There's less obesity. Children are less likely to use drugs. The teenagers are better connected. The school attendance is up. They have a sense of belonging. It's endless. It really is. And just simply
so
sharing
even
food.
School attendance is up from
Yes.
having family meals.
That's what statistics
Yeah.
show, that
Yes.
just by having that family time together, it's a positive reinforcement to that family unit and being together, and kids going to school. That's all part of that conversation you have it at the dinner table. How is school? What's going on? How are classes? Just things.
So not only does family meals then address specific mealtime needs for some families, but you also address the larger picture for every family of the importance of the family meal.
Right. We insert a letter in the meal bag, and with the statistics on there saying if they would just try it, and we ask for feedback each time, and we receive very little feedback from the families, and I understand why they wouldn't, because they don't want, they're embarrassed. There's no need to be embarrassed, but we can understand that they don't want their name associated with them. Our meal bags we deliver to their door. They don't have to stand in line or fill out vouchers, and the bags are, and the food doesn't have barcode lines through the barcode. Fresh food is possible, produce is possible. Like I said, a full protein, either a chicken or a turkey for Thanksgiving always. Fresh potatoes and carrots.
They get a box dessert mix they can prepare together,
to have
canned
dessert.
goods. And we don't ask the families of any personal financial information. All we ask is that they have a home to prepare it together in, and that they can share it together. That's it. We don't ask any other information. We just need their names, their address, and a phone number to contact. And then we do get the number of children, and then when we deliver the bags, we base that. So if, let's say it's a family of 10, then they will get more than that family of 4. They'll get more potatoes, more carrots. Just so we make sure that each of that family can get a nice meal and have amount of food to serve that family.
Does any of the food, now you said you did a lot of BOGOs, buy one, get one, from the different grocery stores when you started. Do any of the grocery stores or any restaurants now donate food to you, or is it still...
Not really
No,
donated.
not yet.
No, we have to fundraise for our own to purchase our food. Like the Black Tie Bingo event, we have a couple large events throughout the year. So everything that we provide to our families, we purchase. We buy local. We really try to stick with the local stores, local vendors, things like that to keep it in the Treasure Coast. You know, we really promote the Treasure Coast families along here to help them. So,
Kerrie, you're also in the education field at IRSC.
correct.
And so you see a lot of students that are, the typical IRSC student isn't necessarily the 18-year-old freshman.
No, it's not. A lot of my students are moms, dads working, going back to school, second career, and trying to maintain a family and get a new education, a new degree. So, and I know that it has to be challenging for them. I know that. I see it. I tell some of the students I have brought the brochures on family meals to not only my students, but to the college itself, and just let them know that if they ever need help, come to us, and in confidence, we're not going to give that information out. So,
And the tips that you offer about planning family meals, because obviously in between Thanksgiving and Easter and the summer, there are a lot of other dinners that need to be prepared and shared. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a 3-course meal.
correct.
It can be something as simple as, a protein, a vegetable, and a starch, or 2 vegetables.
Right.
I grew up in a generation where there was even always dessert, but it was usually a Jell-O product. I don't know if
pudding.
either of you could relate
Yeah,
to that.
There was always a protein, always a starch or a slice of
Yeah.
bread and butter, and a vegetable, and a dessert. Always.
Yes, yeah.
Always.
We at Family Meals say it's not about the food, it's about the memories that you have at the table. If you think about raising your own children, most of the memories are something funny, maybe that you burnt something, maybe whatever it is, or it's usually always happened at the table.
One of my daughter's favorite memories, I remember she had to write about it. In 3rd or 4th grade, she had to write about her favorite memory with her grandmother, and it was about mashing potatoes together, because she had not ever, done it herself, and my mother showed her how to do it and let her do it. And getting your kids involved, sometimes it takes a little bit more work to let your kids do it.
Gotta let go of the reins. That's
Yeah.
hard to do.
And then
My
if you
kids are a little
stand, you stand over their shoulders going, no, smaller pieces.
Don't do it like that.
It's a little discouraging, but in
Potatoes
general,
everywhere. Floor,
yeah.
hair.
in general, it's really something that it's a memory shared. You think about like introducing somebody new to the family, like a daughter's boyfriend, or a new best friend or something like that, having them over. And I remember too having my kids' friends come over, and they're even back in the day, and my kids are 25 and 26. When they were growing up, there were a lot of kids who just never sat down for family dinners now. And I don't know what the stats are, but I'll bet that, people sit down for family dinners now, maybe an average of once a week.
Maybe, yeah. And in meeting these new people, it was always around a dinner time or a meal time or a lunch time. So that was always the thing, when new people come into the house. Well, let's all meet and go to dinner and meet.
Yes,
that's how
yeah.
you meet those significant people, the new members.
And also judge. I can remember my mom judging my husband based on the fact that he asked for seconds.
Ah, there it is. He was a winner then.
He's a
wasn't he?
keeper, yeah. Yeah. So food is definitely something. It gives you the common bond, and it gives you a tie. You can even a meal that is terrible. Some of my favorite memories surround forgetting the biscuits in the oven, which tended to be something that happened all the time in the house.
I always forgot the cranberry juice, cranberry sauce. Always.
You did.
My mom always burned her yeast rolls. I mean, that is a memory even to this day we
Yeah,
laugh
so
about.
you have the
I
whole
had
burnt
the
roll.
whole- She would leave. They were beautiful, risen, nice, and she'd leave them in the oven too long. And
Just a tad too long.
And then the smoke alarms and everything's going off.
It is.
To this day, it's a funny memory. So.
Well, we're talking to the folks from Family Meals, and you're listening to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some of the special events you do to raise money for Family Meals. We're talking to Martha Taylor and Kerrie J. We'll be back in just a few minutes with more.
Now back to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. Once again, here's Sue Ellen Sanders.
Thanks for joining us again for the second part of the show. And if you were listening earlier, we're talking to Martha and Kerrie from Family Meals. And we were talking about the genesis of Family Meals, how it all started with Martha's family sitting around probably the dinner table because dinner is a time where you come up with ideas and you share ideas, but it's also a time where when your kids grow up and they go off and they have families of their own, they come back and you usually all get together for a family meal then too. So it's something that there's always food joins us together, gives us something to talk about, even if it's critical, a little bit like Kerrie and I were talking about the burned rolls. And I'll be the first one to tell you that I'm not just talking about my mom's tradition of burning the rolls. I'm talking about my tradition.
No.
Because what we do in the house, if we have rolls on the table, we throw them in the oven while everything else is going out on the table and wait till everybody has sat down at the table to take the rolls out of the oven so they stay hot. And there's so many distracting things when everybody's sitting down at the table, you just forget. Even when you set the buzzer, another minute will be fine. Well, no, sometimes another minute isn't fine. So anyhow, it takes money to run a nonprofit and to buy the food and to coordinate the deliveries. And so you have special events that you do each year, annual special events. One of them is a celebrity bartending event that is a couple months past.
Yes, it's usually the first Wednesday in November, and it's a kickoff so we can raise turkeys for Thanksgiving.
And that usually takes place at Cobb's Landing.
Always at Cobb's. Mm-hmm.
And you have different local celebrities, or they may just be local people who know a lot of people, which makes them
That's a celebrity to us.
celebrities. Yeah. Some people with a social media presence, so the word will get out. And then this fundraiser that's coming up at the end of January is called Black Ties, Blue Jeans, and Bingo. Tell us a little bit about that.
So the event will be held at the Pelican Yacht here in Fort Pierce. This is our fourth event. What will happen is we have a local entertainment group that comes in, Trax Entertainment, and they'll do bingo games. We'll have some dancing. We'll have dinner. We'll have a silent auction. Past hors d'oeuvres, cash bar. It's a lot of fun. The bingo games are a lot of fun. We'll have 5 bingo games. And each of the prizes are valued at least $500. And people always have a lot of
So are they
fun.
things that are prizes or
So
cash?
we do a cash prize. We do a Yeti cooler package prize. We've got a 55-inch screen TV prize.
for winning at bingo.
Winning at bingo.
That really, people must be so competitive because I know when I'm playing bingo at Sailfish on Monday nights and all I'm getting is a $10 gift certificate for beer, I'm really competitive.
Yeah.
So I cannot imagine.
It's competitive, but it's so
Yes.
much fun. Everyone, last 4 years, just a blast. I mean, everybody walks out with a smile on their face and has a great time. Even if they don't, even if they don't win, though, they still have a good time.
Yes,
they have a good
well,
time.
because there's enough fun things that are going on too.
And it's going to, coming back to the organization, a lot of good supporters there, just people that really are caring, and a lot of volunteers that have helped us out throughout the year. They'll come and enjoy in the event as well and support family meals. So it's really a family feel to me, honestly.
Yeah,
it's a good time.
So this year, again, Saturday, January 25th, 6 to 10 p.m. at the Pelican Yacht Club. And how much are tickets?
They are $100 a person.
They're $100 a person. But you have the opportunity to make that back and more.
Absolutely.
By winning at bingo.
Correct.
And it's a plated dinner. It's a nice dinner, and we last year was our very first signature cheesecake bar.
Yes,
and
delicious.
We have all the cheesecake you have and all the toppings that you can imagine.
Do you make those cheesecakes?
We don't.
You don't. Pelican does.
We bring them in.
Oh, you bring them in.
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Visiting cheesecakes.
They are delicious, and the toppings. It's a nice way to top off the evening.
It was a big hit last year, and this year we're doing it again.
We have a silent auction. We'll have 50 plus items to auction off in the silent auction. And they're nice items. We've got Disney tickets. We've got a guitar that was signed by Gordon Lightfoot. We've got some nice stained glass art windows, some things that are donated by some local artists. We're very pleased to have these items donated to us to be able to help us in our fundraising needs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're very lucky, very blessed.
So typically, how much money do you raise with this type of event?
Usually we raise around $20,000.
That's awesome. And that money seeds the food that you buy for the meals that you serve during the year.
For Easter.
Okay.
We're Family Meals has no paid staff. We're all volunteers. We work out of my home, my desk, and online. We can send emails back and forth, and then we put the food at Trinity Lutheran Church in Fort Pierce, and that is all donated by the church. We're part of their outreach, one of their programs at the church, and so we have really extremely low overhead.
So all of the money goes toward the food.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. How many families did you help in this last year?
Our fiscal year's the end of April to April, and 2017.
Is that random? Do you get to decide when your fiscal year is?
We did, yes.
I'm just curious.
We did. My husband's a CPA, so it couldn't be really any other time, so it worked out good. But
at Thanksgiving, we helped over 2,300 families.
Wow.
At Easter, we helped about 1,800, over 1,800 families. And then
the fiscal year we ended helping well over 5,000. And then we started this year. Last year we did not have a summer outreach. We did 2 outreaches. And the Thanksgiving's typically our largest because more families want to participate. I'm not sure.
Family dinner, And, when you think about it, you realize that getting them to have this come together for this family dinner could be life-changing for them because they know they're not in it alone, that there's somebody that's helping them.
Hope so. I hope the meal is meaningful. When the driver delivers the food, the drivers do not deliver in their own neighborhood, so they won't recognize any of the families. They don't have family meals written all over their car. They don't blow the horn when they pull up. It's a very dignified handoff of food, and inside the bag are the food. And we tweaked our menu a little bit because we didn't realize every family in the world, especially the Treasure Coast, doesn't have green bean casserole.
Nobody likes green bean casserole.
I cannot tell you how sick I am of green bean casserole.
We changed it up. We listened to their feedback, and it was simple.
I absolutely you know, there's been so many years, and I can remember my stepmother one year serving it and saying it was an old family recipe. And even then, as a teenager, I knew better because it was every family's recipe. It's on the back of the cream of mushroom
Right.
soup can.
or the French fried onions.
Yeah.
It's everywhere out there.
One of the families said, we don't really need that soup. And I said, soup. And then,
But now we know why.
and then I said, the mushroom soup. And yeah, we don't really like that. We don't use that. And I said, well, you mix it with the green beans. And no, we don't eat that. And so, different organizations. We also reach out to several of the local shelters on the Treasure Coast. We're real proud of our partnership with them. And they pick up the food because we don't have any business knowing their families' names or anything, and they can't share them. And we respect and appreciate that.
So
And
some of the families you're helping are through other nonprofits.
right,
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
You find them through the other nonprofits.
Correct. Different languages. There's language barriers. We couldn't communicate with them, or like shelters. And to me, those families need to have a family meal the most because they're in shelters. They're disrupted. Their families disrupted. Their lives are disrupted, and that's something that you can have a base again.
But do they have a place to cook?
They do.
Okay.
The shelters that we help have a common
Okay.
kitchen
Yeah.
or
So they
different
can- yeah.
apartments.
Right.
So, okay. That's interesting. So if people want to get on your list for Easter, how do they do that?
We have a Facebook page. We have a website. So Facebook is Family Meals Inc. Our email or our website is familymealsinc.org. If you Google search Family Meals Fort Pierce, you will find
That's
us.
you.
That's
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
We not only serve, though, Fort Pierce. I think sometimes that gets lost. We serve out as far as Okeechobee County. We go as far south as we do St. Lucie County. We do Martin County. And we now serve families in Indian River County.
So it's really for
We
the
have-
whole Treasure Coast.
It is for the whole
Yeah.
Treasure
Yeah.
Coast. So we really, want families to know that we will deliver to you, we'll work out a way to get that meal to you no matter where you live along the Treasure Coast.
Well, let's then just go over some of the different ways that if people want to help, how they can help. First of all, you can go as an attendee to the fundraiser, Black Ties, Blue Jeans, and Bingo. Have a great time. You pay $100. You get a full plated meal, cash bar, an opportunity to bid on things at the silent auction, and 5 different games of bingo that come with your entry. And each of them, if you win, you get a gift valued at, I still can't get over $500.
$500, yep.
Five chances at it.
5 chances.
Are they complicated bingo scenarios? Or is this like, do
have
you
your-
have
it's
to
just
have
regular-
skill?
You have your basic bingo,
Right.
and then you have your, I think we do the 4 corners, we do like the postage stamp, we do
4 corners? So 4?
we do the cover all at the end.
Yes,
It's
okay.
your
Just the
typical
yeah.
bingo,
Yeah.
if you go to
Yeah.
the local VFW or the church and have your bingo night, it's pretty much, it follows that pattern of games.
Okay.
People just have a lot of fun. They really do. And Trex does a nice job with music and, they just keep the whole night energy really high and just really, it's just a good time.
Does Lynette Marafa come out?
She does, and
Yes.
she yes,
loves that
yes,
kind of
we like
stuff.
Lynette.
Yeah.
And
She's-
Yeah.
her and her whole
she's
crew.
wonderful.
Her group is great. So
Yeah.
When the guests get competitive with their bingo, she says, "Come on, folks, it's all computer automated." So
that's just it. It's all
funny.
computerized.
So does Lynette call the numbers?
She does.
Does she
And it's
take
on-
bribes?
She does not.
No,
It's all
computer
It's all computer
automated,
generated,
yeah.
so there's not even a basket
She
of
can't-
balls. She
yeah,
can't.
she
She
can't
can't just
do
pick a
that,
number.
yeah.
So
She wouldn't either.
No.
No,
but
I
it's
know
it's
she
on it's
wouldn't.
on
I'm
a screen.
teasing.
I know
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
on a screen.
It's a
and,
good time.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
and the
But
backdrop of the Indian River Lagoon and
Right.
the inlet is beautiful at night. So we're right there
Yeah.
in the Pelican. So
Yes. And Black Ties, Blue Jeans. So you could wear a dressy shirt and blue jeans.
yep.
Which
anything goes.
It's
Really.
really easy, and the guys probably really enjoy it
Right.
too because it means they can wear blue jeans.
Right.
We did the black tie thing for the 2 years, and then we decided to change it up a little bit and add that blue jean factor. So if your husband doesn't like to wear the suit or the tux or dress up, he can wear his blue jeans and a nice shirt.
But you can still get them to dress up if you want.
You can, absolutely. We get all attire, gowns to cowboy boots to 10-gallon hats. It's a lot of fun.
Well, it's the Treasure Coast.
Right.
There's
Get
a
it all.
variety of
Yeah,
dress
there's a variety.
out here. So we've got that you can come to be a part of the fundraiser. You can also donate, any time of year by going through the Facebook page or the website, contacting Martha, contacting Kerrie. But how about volunteers? I mean, you need volunteer drivers. So you may not have the funds, or you may have the funds, but you also wanted to help personally, and you could, sign up to be a driver.
We have lots of need for volunteers always. The more we grow, the more drivers we need. But the volunteers we have volunteers that are disabled, that can only sit or can only whatever, and we have a job for them. Some volunteers just call the families. Some, if they're better on the computer, they help with Excel, with the routes. But we have just packing potatoes is one of the more popular things, and people sit around. Seacoast Bank comes, or the property appraiser office, and their whole crew just packs potatoes, and it's great. It's good community outreach.
It's a good team bonding for them
absolutely,
too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We do small fundraisers throughout the year as well. We do quarter auctions, things of that nature, some raffles and things. So there's always that need for the volunteers to just be part of, the team to help do a quarter auction or do the outreach. Just having extra volunteers is nice to have.
Well, I think one of the easiest things that people could do to stay abreast of what you're doing is like your Facebook page, because then you probably will get the notifications of special events and different things that you're doing, and your needs for volunteers. When you need volunteers, do you need volunteers to go grocery shopping too? Or
no,
do you guys?
Our numbers are pretty large, so we put orders in.
How do you do? How do you? You got like 2,000 families. Can you imagine how many potatoes that is?
It's a lot of potatoes.
And we buy wholesale from Nelson Farms,
right. And he
they
delivers.
deliver, and they forklift it off to the church property, and then we bring it in on carts or whatever. And honestly, this is one nonprofit that the entire community helps with in different ways, from just donating money,
food
donating
drives,
raffle items, having food drives, helping out, delivering the meal, getting families for us. But it's when we have our outreach, it is unbelievable what a great community we're in. That they come. Nelson just stepped up. Indian River Select donates orange juice to all the families. We give them the total numbers, and they forklift it onto a truck, and
they've got orange juice for the morning.
Yes.
The St. Lucie County Sheriff's Department and the Fort Pierce Police have helped us as well.
They deliver.
They help us with deliveries. We've just truly been lucky, all the volunteers that have just come together at Easter and Thanksgiving and over the summer to help with the community.
It's direct charity. You if you want to reach out and touch the family, we ask that you don't go in their homes, just for their privacy and the safety of the drivers. But when you donate to family meals, it goes directly into someone's home.
Right.
And you know that there's families that are getting 100% of the product that you're bringing to.
Right.
So people can, you said that you also have the donations of orange juice. Can people, if they do have access to different products, can they donate products to you as well?
Absolutely. We don't have storage, so the Indian Select keeps it for a day. So it's a little bit of logistics when it gets closer to it. It doesn't necessarily have to be canned if they can keep it until we need it, which most places need to move it so they have room for their business. But we don't really accept prepared food because we don't have any way to store it or to really deliver it. Volunteers can eat it though when we have an outreach, but we don't give it to the family. We like to have enough that we can satisfy the meal, the menu for the families, so they know.
Does the menu change a little bit every year, or is it pretty? I
Well,
mean,
like
obviously we dropped green bean
we
casserole.
did.
We changed to cornbread mixes. We found that families like that, they can take the cornbread mixes and make stuffing out of it, or just have that as their starch instead of a roll. You know, we've had to. Budgetary things can help us change our menu as well, depending on, you know, where things at. But turkeys are always at Thanksgiving. We usually do whole chickens at Easter, whole chickens over the summer. But the menu stays fairly the same. But we've made some changes based on feedback and things from our families. So.
And do you ever have families who want to give back? Like, you know, they needed the meal one year and then the next year they want to come out and volunteer?
Absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of them, what I really like is, say, family meals help me, and then I can go on site and help, and nobody knows that I was a recipient. Because you would only know, I know most of the names, and Kerrie does, but most people, they don't, you never would connect the name to the person.
We don't share that information.
We don't even share it with each other very much. We share, you know, Kerrie.
The logistics
Kerrie
of what we need to share, and that's really it. And we've had families, they'll receive a meal, let's say at Thanksgiving, and then we reach out to them at Easter, and they're like, you know what, we are financially much better than we were at Thanksgiving. Thank you. We don't need it. Give it to somebody else, which is truly heartwarming to us. It's
a win-win.
It's a win for all of us. Yeah, that's a feel good. They'd like just give it
So
back.
are we hungry yet? Thinking about all the wonderful food for the family meal. Martha and Kerrie have been talking with me about the organization Family Meals. It's a nonprofit organization, and the idea was hatched probably around the dining room table at Martha's house with her grown family. I'm assuming that most of your kids are grown too.
Yes, they are. All of them are.
And it just grew from there. And you know, this now in its 6th year, you know, you have several large fundraisers, including the Black Ties, Blue Jeans, and Bingo event, the Celebrity Bartender event in November, and then you have other small events during the year. Facebook page, you can find them on their Facebook page, Family Meals. You could also find their website, www.familymealsinc.org. You can volunteer. You can find out about getting meals. If you're listening to this show and you know a family that you think could benefit, you know, can somebody else pass along that information to you?
Absolutely. They can reach out to us through our website. If they know someone that would benefit, just make sure that family knows that we would be calling them. You know, that information has been handed on. I've had other families call me and say, you know, I have a family friend that I really think they could use your help. Let me give you their information, and then we'll call them and find out. But like I said, everything we get from them is discretion. We keep everything private. We don't give any information out to anybody else.
So back to Black Ties, Blue Jeans, and Bingo. You are pre-selling tickets, so you can't just show up the night of January 25th and get in the door. You have to go ahead and reserve your ticket and purchase your ticket. How do people buy tickets?
You can call the number 772-210-0900. That's Family Meals number, and leave a message, and I will return your call. You can email us at familymeals with an S, FL as in Florida, @gmail.com. Or Facebook, as Kerrie said, or the website, and we will get back to you. And you can PayPal us right now today, $100, and your address will be there, and I will give you a call to see if you want me to mail your tickets. We cannot sell tickets at the door because we have to give the Pelican a meal count, and we can't afford to waste the money.
No, yeah. So you have to purchase the tickets ahead of time, but you still have time to do that. $100 per ticket. Again, you get a full plated meal, and you get an opportunity to bid on silent auction items, which I always feel like I'm winning when I bid on silent auction items. And my family goes, "Yeah, Mom, you're winning with your checkbook, but good for you." Then you also have an opportunity 5 different opportunities to play bingo and come home with a gift. $500 cash is one of them. You said, what were some of the other $500
There's
value?
a 55-inch smart TV.
The smart TV.
You've got a $500 Yeti cooler package, which is always a big hit.
So I'm assuming the liquor comes with it for $500. Yeah.
It does not.
No,
No?
no
Oh,
liquor.
I forget how much
But it's-
Yeti coolers cost.
Yeah, you know how much
Okay.
coolers are.
Yeah.
And then there's, I think, a $500 gift card and
Gift
in
card.
cash. So
Mhm.
the opportunities to win are good.
Lots of opportunities to win, and all you have to do is play bingo. And that's a game of luck. I mean, you really don't have to have skill to play bingo. You have to have skill to be the first one to yell bingo. So keep that in mind. Martha Taylor and Kerrie Jakubczak have been
Kerrie
my
Jane.
guest. Poor woman. She's gone through her life, her whole married life, pronouncing her name for other people. They're here from Family Meals. You can like them on Facebook, get more information. You can listen to my show every weekend on Saturday and Sunday. Have a great week. We'll see you back here next week with more.
You've been listening to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. And remember, views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we do encourage you to like and share them on Facebook.